What is going on, everyone? Back with another video on the internet. This time, if you couldn't tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about one of the weirdest manga that I've come across yet. And by weird, I mean graphic. It is very graphic. It is very intense, and it is very somewhat fast-paced. And I am, of course, talking about the work of Kentaro Sato, Magical Girl Apocalypse. I am not going to show anything from inside this. This is the second book in the series, and if you've read this, if you know anything about Magical Girl Apocalypse or the Magical Girl series, I think there's one series called Magical Girl Site, and it's about like kind of the same thing, but it's this magical website that infests someone of the host with magical powers or something. I don't know, I haven't picked it up. I want to finish the Magical Girl Apocalypse first. There's 16 manga in the series of Magical Girl Apocalypse. Obviously, there's way more than just this one manga in the whole world. There's millions, thousands of manga. Excuse me, but there's 16 within this series, and I would kind of like to have a complete series of Magical Girl Apocalypse Sunday. That's sort of a work in progress now for me. So if you've never seen it, it's sort of like this, I don't know how to explain it. It's like this thing happens, and these girls come down, and it's very not safe for young kids. It's very bloody, it's very graphic, there's a lot of adult themes in it as well. So it's definitely one of the more adult manga that exists. Not exactly hentai, but you can kind of see it from there. You can kind of see it from here. It's not like full on like they don't show anyone doing it. It's just kind of insinuated that something happened. I mean, if you know about it, you know about it. You know what's happened. But if you don't, I'm not gonna ruin it. I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone that wants to read it, that likes this kind of stuff. I'm just used to like the safe sort of side of anime with the Attack on Titans and the Black Butlers and all that stuff. One thing I do find interesting is I found this at Barnes and Noble, which is typically, they have a manga collection, a manga section in each of their stores. When I bought Berserk, they have, or when you go to buy Berserk there, they have it wrapped in cellophane because it's graphic, I guess. It's one of the 16 plus mangas that are out there. This too is This is a 16 plus manga. But the one thing I find funny about this is this has like nudity in it, and themes of sexual stuff like that in it, and there's absolutely no cellophane or anything wrapping this up, keeping anyone from seeing the contents in it. That just might be because it's such a rare anime or manga that it's just starting to come out, and people are, or at least it's starting to be publicly put out in chain bookstores. I mean, I've just heard of this. I just heard this the other day, and I've already read the first one. So I had never heard of this until just a couple days ago, so I don't know anything about this. But after reading the first one and reading the first few pages of Berserk, I don't see why this isn't wrapped up in cellophane, but Berserk is. That just could be a publisher thing that Dark Horse does. Might depend on the publisher. It might not be, because this is published by Seven Seas, and I think Berserk, if I remember correctly, is Dark Horse. I did see some other mangas in this section wrapped in cellophane. I don't know if they were Seven Seas published or if they were published by other publishers. But I don't see why, if one, again, that might just be a personal choice between publishers as to if they have a 16 plus manga, they might wrap it in cellophane, compared to another publisher. They feel as though maybe they don't want to do that, maybe they don't want to waste plastic, because they're going to put it on and then you're going to take it off and throw out the plastic. But it is a good way to sort of keep people from getting in and seeing certain things, because within the first few pages of this, there's not going to show it. It's very disturbing, very very out there. Again, if you've read it, if you've read the Magical Girl Apocalypse series, you know all about it. I mean, it's a good story, it's a good series and everything. I'm only 1.5 books in to it already, so I don't really know too much about it, but I'm going to continue reading it, and I never thought I would be as hooked on it as I am, and I will continue to try to find more and more of these books. I might have to go online and buy them, because I don't know if any bookstore in their right mind would carry these, especially with what's inside, because again, these weren't like high up. The bookstore where I got these, they kept them on like the second highest bookshelf that they could put them on, whereas the store I went to, the Barnes & Noble I went to today, had them on like the second shelf off the floor. So any little kid running by who's interested in comic books could run, grab this, and flip through it and see what's inside of it. And then I think that's why Berserk wraps their Dark Horse wraps a lot of theirs in cellophane. That's why Berserk's wrapped up, I guess, so that nobody rips it open without buying it. I could be wrong. I'm still new to this whole thing of being a fan of manga and anime and stuff. I just only recently started collecting manga, so I don't really know all of the things, all the rules and stuff about what you have to wrap in cellophane, and I don't really know all the details about that stuff, but I'm sure I will as I go through and gain more collections, more books in my collection and stuff like that, and do more research as to what ones I want to read next. So that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on in this video. The art style of this is good. I mean, from that little bit you can probably see from the back, the art style is pretty good. Not saying it's bad art. It's just, don't let you little kids read that. Alright, if you don't want them to. Just warning you right now. It's not safe for kids. Really not. It's very gory, very adult themed. So, yeah. Don't say I didn't warn you. And until next time, keep anime hunting.